Well, hello there. This is Keith from Keith's Comics coming to you live from our Keith's Comics warehouse and studio. I forgot to turn the sound down. Almost had echo. Chamber. Hello. We don't have a schedule, but we're putting together stuff, and we're trying out different times of days. Hopefully we catch you out and about, or maybe you can just turn on your phone, hang out. We're going to try to sell some comics. Hopefully that you find some FOMO in your life to check out what we have. The Esteban is with me today.
Indeed, I am.
He's going to be pushing some comics on the video here in just a moment. And if you think that you cannot live without those two books, matter of fact, we should just only have one up right now there, Esteban, so that we will be showing you one book at a time and describing the book to you, talking a little bit about them. And we hope that you jump into the conversation as well. If you've never been on any of our shows, you're welcome. Jump in there to the comments. Say hello. Let me know that you're out there. Give me a little bit of background. Are you part of our regular crew? Are you just now discovering us? If you're watching on our Mockingbird feed, the Mockingbird Keith's Comics, that's great. We love that and we appreciate that. But if you want to claim anything from this show that we're about to do, you need to jump on over to the Keith's Comics Network Facebook page. I can see Sam just jumped right in there. Well, you know, I tried to get in between the Ranger game and maybe some evening football, and maybe this fall might work out for us as well. We're going to be showing books one at a time, talking about them. If you have some comments, keep me on the straight and narrow. Add some context. Be part of the show. Some of our regulars, if they pop in, they have their own regular bits. And if the only private show for Sam right now, that's all good, because most people who watch our show watch it later and claim later, and that's all good. We're happy to have you. Thank you so much. If you're watching in the future, hello, future. You can always claim stuff that isn't claimed. The prices are good for 72 hours. We'd love to have you drop by. Always come by and see us in the stores, too. Let's see. I'm going to check my meters here. It looks like the audio is good. It was okay for the first show that we did a couple of nights ago. I need to get one of those little things that goes right here. It keeps me from bumping the microphone. But that's okay. Esteban and I worked a whole bunch of stuff for the stores today. And we said, what the heck, we'll just throw together a show, too. Because, you know, we don't have anything else going on in our lives tonight. Well, I see that. Maybe Esteban does.
Not tonight, just comics.
All about comics tonight. All right. So, Esteban, are you ready to go?
I am ready. Are you ready?
No, I'm not ready, but we're going to do this thing anyway. Let's start our show for tonight. As we knock the rust off, it's been a while, you know. We did shows for 2.5 years during the pandemic. And then we got to December of last year. We were moving a store. We had a whole lot of stuff going on in the background. We just didn't have time for the longest time. And then we had a new warehouse. All kind of things were going on, and we just took a break. And now we're back. But you know, it's kind of rusty. We don't remember how everything works. We have new equipment, some of it good, some of it is going to be great whenever we learn how to use it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, so let's see the first book here. Let me turn that camera off. See, look, I have multiple cameras now. How about that? First up, Vengeance of Bane 2. Look at that. That back in the, when was that, mid-90s, 94, 95, when the Bane was introduced. Golly, that's been 25 years, 30 years ago since Bane was introduced. He's an old school character now. Vengeance of Bane, there was originally a one-shot with a kind of a reddish cover. That was the first appearance of Bane, and that was so popular he got a follow-up, Vengeance of Bane 2. Was that Dark Redemption or something like that? I can't remember. The Redemption. So this is a nice, fine copy. It presents great. Looks fantastic. If you always wanted one of these for your collection, here you go. Vengeance of Bane from 1995. $10. $10 for a nice, fine copy. Now, when I talk about the gradings, you know, when you're selling back issue comics, sometimes you got to just talk about the grade as opposed to when we just put them in our stores, we just say, here's the price. But for the live show, we're going to give you a more of of a more of a feel for the grading of the book. And, you know, we want you to be happy when you get your books. Next up. Hey, the werewolf. Oh, and we can see Esteban in the reflection chair. Yeah. Werewolf by Night. A lot of people miss this, that there's a new Werewolf by Night. Jake Gomez. And also, this was written by one of the Black Eyed Peas, I believe. Is that, am I remembering that correctly? Werewolf by Night gets us past the Jack Russell era of Werewolf by Night. A lot of people miss this, and so with the spooky, scary season coming up, we thought we'd throw a few horror books in there. What are we going to do? $13 in the store? Is that what I'm saying there?
$15.
$15 in the store. Wowzers. $10 if you claim it here tonight. For Werewolf by Night, number 1. In case you were wondering, he's a werewolf by night. Next up, more horror stuff from the mid-90s. This is Vamps from Vertigo. Wow, I almost tripped all over myself saying that. The artist on there, fantastic stuff. Look at that. Brian Bowling, a little saucy there on the covers. From 1994. This is all 6 parts of the Vamps miniseries from 1994. Beautiful VF copies from a one-owner collection. $14 if you scored here tonight, but if you slide through the store, we're going to ask $20 for it. Get you a bargain while you can. And we appreciate you jumping in here, checking us out on the show. And even if you're watching later, hey, appreciate that. We have a new system. If you're one of the old school people, when you claim something, type claim into the Keys Comics Network comment field over there and give us an idea of what you're claiming. Claims that just say claim get ignored because we don't know what the heck you're talking about. Claim, and then like if you wanted this one, you'd say claim Vamps set. And that's good enough. No spelling doesn't count. And then we'll go through and check all the comments later on. Facebook is the official timer of the Keys Comics Facebook Live shows, so make sure you have your internet up and running at full speed. Next up, RoboCop 2 set from 1990, 1, 2, and 3. A lot of people forget that Frank Miller did the treatment for RoboCop 2. And this comic is based on that treatment. I don't think he did any of the writing or the art on the inside, but it does say on a screenplay by Frank Miller. 1990, $10 in the store. Beautiful set. VF copies. $8 if you scored here tonight. Woohoo. Nicely done. Next up. Ooh, Wanted. This was a cool 1970s DC book where they took great classic stories, reprints, but then matched them up. Let's see, who is this one? This is Alan Scott, and is that Solomon Grundy?
Solomon Grundy.
Ooh. Plus, this is a bonus book. We are offering this as a conditional offering. You can claim it, but someone has sent us a want list wanting Mark Jewelers. Let me say that again. Mark Jeweler variants. That means it has a special insert in it that they're collecting. This Wanted number 4, it's got to be from the early 70s, 72 to 74, somewhere around in there. Would be $9 in a store, but it's because of the variant status of this and the highly sought-after collectible that it is. $12 is what we're asking for this. Wanted. Who's the bottom story? I can't really make it out.
Masterman who raised the devil to destroy Kid Eternity.
Oh, a Kid Eternity story. Nice. A little Vertigo touch there. All right. Next up.
Almost didn't make it.
We had to pry this book out of Esteban's
alive hands.
This book, I can tell you, Superman was one of the first collectibles I tried to put together. At one time, I had Superman like number 185 through 400 because I mail ordered them. I collected them, ran all around. It was getting harder and harder to find them. And then I got older, went off to college, and then whenever I decided to open the store, had to sell them all and broke my heart. But this book was always hard to find. It's square bound because it's 100-page, and then that beautiful Neil Adams cover with all the flying characters is just awesome. Esteban, can you flip that around so people can see that it's a wraparound cover? It's they did. I've never been able to score one, but there is a poster of this that I saw at somebody else's house, and I almost pulled it right off their wall. This is a Superman number 252. Is that right? Oh, look, more Kid Eternity.
252.
No, Superman 252, which it also is a 100-page spectacular from 1972. $40 for this VG Plus. Doesn't quite get up to fine, but man, is it sharp. It looks fantastic. $40 in store, $25 if you scored in our show tonight. Hey, I see several of you are out there. Drop into the comments, say hello, and make sure that you're on the Keith's Comics Network Facebook page if you want us to see your comments. You can comment on the Keith's Comics Mockingbird or any of our other pages. We just won't see it. Not for a while yet, anyway. Not till we come back in and review everything. Superman number 252, $25. Next up. Oh, man. Well, can you help me out there, Esteban? I don't know why I put that tag right in the middle of all the action there.
Let's just do that.
Yeah, there we go. Amazing Spider-Man number 198 from 1979. Beautiful VF minus copy. Just a little tick that keeps it out of the VF. $18 in store. $13 if you score it here tonight. Nice. Night? Afternoon? Well, one of those two. Amazing Spider-Man number 198. $13. Mysterio. I wish I had that book a couple years ago before the movie came out. Next up. What? Is that the other part of this?
It is.
Oh, this one is a VG Plus. I think it has a little stain on it, if I remember correctly. When we prep for the shows, I have to pull all these books out and kind of look at them. And I don't pour over them, but I look at them close enough when I can see a stain or something like that. It brings it down. VG Plus. $199 of Amazing Spider-Man. Still a very pretty book. Will look great in your collection. Yes, your collection. I'm talking to you. $10 if it makes it to the store. $7 for you here this evening. Next up. Oh, from the Wolverine series that started in when? 88, 89, somewhere around in there. Not the mini-series from the like 82, but the regular series that started in 88, right around in there. This is issues 11 through 16. This is a complete storyline. The Gehenna bomb or something?
The Gehenna Stone affair.
Gehenna Stone. What's a Gehenna Stone?
Whatever he's trying to grab.
Okay. I guess someone had locked up the Infinity Stones at that point. $40 for this complete set if it makes it out to the store. Or if you're a Wolverine fan, you can get you taken care of right now. $32. $32 for Wolverine, number 11 through 16. Complete story, Gehenna Stone affair. Next up. Where's my Batman fans out there? As a matter of fact, here's a Batman family. Batman Family had its own title, 16 issues or so. I can't remember exactly how many it was there. But this is from 1976. Is that right?
1976.
1976. A nice, solid, fine plus copy. $11 if you score it tonight. $15 if you somehow let it make it through to the store. I'm playing with my settings here. So if I sound a little distracted, it's because I am. Because I want to be able to see what you guys are seeing at a big wide screen. And without deleting everything. All right, next up. Oh, wow, cool. Bruce Timm cover. He's the cover artist here. Kind of famous for doing a little book, some cartoons in the early 90s. Is that right? If I'm remembering that right? A handful of them. Some Batmans and or some Supermans.
Nothing major.
Nothing major. Just, set the course for both those characters for, 25 years. Amazing Spider-Man number 49 from 2020. You might have missed this during the pandemic. This variant cover from issue number 49. I like the MJ's. She's just living her best life. But down there behind them, you can see Gwen Stacy giving her the side eye. Peter and Gwen on a date. And what's your date? You want to take me to see MJ dance? Not good. This VF copy, $20 in store, $13 if you scored here tonight. Amazing Spider-Man 49. Bruce Timm variant cover. Next up. Oh my gosh, this book is crazy good. This Adventure Comics number 439 is when the Spectre was the lead character in this book for, I don't know, a couple years, maybe not even that long. But the Jim Aparo art inside of this book is so good. It is scary good. It's so fun. Plus, there's also this Green Arrow story in there. It's the preamble before the story says it was a script that they'd never used of a Green Arrow story, and now they went back and had Lee Elias do the artwork for it. So it's like a lost Golden Age Green Arrow story. Pretty cool. From 1975. Ridiculously, criminally low on these books. $10 for this VG copy if it makes it to the store. $8 if you scored here tonight. Adventure Comics, look at that. This is when the Spectre was all about vengeance, baby. The hand of God. Oof. Next. Oh, yes. Thor, number 2 from one of the more recent series. The first full appearance of Jane Foster as Thor. This book was red hot on fire, like 3 years ago before the Love and Blunder movie. This is VF copy is $10 though, because this is an important hallmark of the Thor franchise. $7 if you scored here tonight. Thor number 2, first full Jane Foster as Thor. They kind of nibbled around the edges for, I don't know. Do you remember Esteban, like 6 months? She would show up, and you weren't really sure who she was, and is she not?
Yeah, sometimes you would see the helmet or a silhouette or the hammer, but never a full look.
Yeah, and at the same time, they were cutting back in between a bunch of different storylines. I remember some people, they were like swearing that it was going to be Valkyrie or something like that. Is her, and then out of the blue, here comes Jane Foster, and it was pretty sad too. Next up. Spider-Man number 7 from the Miles Morales Spider-Man version of that. Ooh.
Art style of the Spider-Verse film.
Oh yes, the art version of the Spider. But you said there was something else important about that, right?
Yeah, it's the first appearance of a character who is escaping my name at the moment. But let me.
Quantum or something like that.
Yeah, Quantum, I think was the name.
Yeah. So. Plus, it's a really cool looking book. Issue number 7 from 2019. $25 in store. $20 if you scored here tonight. Miles Morales number 7. Oof, that's a cool cover too, isn't it? $20. Pasquale is here. Don't forget that if you have claimed some stuff, check your emails, especially emails if we used them previously. You can see at the bottom, KeithComicsChannel@gmail.com. Look for an email from us telling you what your claims were successful in previous shows. I know we sent an email to Pasquale, I think to Sam, where we are going to walk you through how we're going to take care of the payments and before we send books out going forward, so that we can have a better control than we ended up with at the end of the last series of shows. So if you don't know which email we sent to, hit me up at KeithComicsChannel@gmail.com, and we can tell you where we sent the email. Next up. Oh, the She-Hulk 1 through 5 from 2014. Oh, wow. This is is it Philip Sewell? Is that his name? Charles Sewell. Yeah. And then you said this is the series where she eventually goes against Daredevil in the courtroom. Now, this is not the issues, but this is the series that starts. This is the first 5 issues of that series. Pretty popular. They based a lot of the accoutrement of the She-Hulk series. So if you like that on Disney Plus, you really should score this for your personal collection. From 2014, this is the first 5 issues of that She-Hulk run. $30, is that right? Or $22 if you scored here tonight. $22. Next up.
Ghost Rider.
Oh, really pretty copy of Ghost Rider. Somehow this camera has leapt forward a little bit. Can we pull the camera back just ever so slightly? A little bit more. There we go. I don't know if the table got bumped or the earth shattered or something like that. Ghost Rider number 64 from the OG series from the 1970s. I think this book gets into the 80s. This is a conditional offering for the customer with the Mark Jeweler variants that they want. This VF sharp copy, what is it? $15 is what generally a issue 64 would go through in this condition, but with the Mark Jeweler bump and bonus. I'm going to start using that bump and bonus, $18. Ghost Rider number 64, Mark Jeweler's variant. Now you can claim this if you don't, if you want this Ghost Rider. It's just that if the person with it on their list slides in and the next day, they will slip in front of you. We'll let you know though. But you can certainly claim it, and you can claim anything. You can claim anything from yesterday's show. Still, go into the comments of that show. When we finished these shows, fully 3/4 of the stuff would be sold in the shows after the shows. We love it. We appreciate it. And if you're watching in the future, hello, future. We love you, man. It's all good. Next up, the Invasion. Alien Alliance Invasion. This was a great little series from 88 and 89. It introduced us to this new race of aliens, the Dominion. Am I remembering that correctly?
I believe so. They even had a CW crossover feature.
Oh,
these aliens.
That's right. I thought this was a pretty good deal, and it has McFarlane art in the first parts of this. I don't think he did all the parts of it. The deal is the Dominion come to Earth and they say we got to wipe out all these Earth people because they have these specific genes and they keep mutating into heroes. All these other worlds we take over, they just roll over, but not Earth. So we need to get ahead of the curve on this. It's a pretty interesting idea. And out of this, that sprung a whole bunch of other new superheroes. So they kind of used it as a jumping on point for a lot of stuff. The Alien Alliance, this is Invasion, 3-part. All of them were prestige, thicker books. $18 in store, $14 if you score it here tonight. Next up.
Got some X-Men goodness.
X-Men greatness, you mean. X-Men number 450 and 451. This is you plucked this out. I didn't even know about this. Yeah. This is where X-23 makes her first crossover into the X-Men books. Wow. Issue 450 and 451. Smoking hot copies of these. $35. Is that right? What we're asking for that?
Yeah, in store for
28 if you score it tonight. $28 for you can see. How does Wolverine react to the? Do we ever settle on what she is? Is she a clone? Is she daughter? Is she test tube?
I think we settled for daughter most of the time.
Okay. Next up. Oh, we were just talking about him, and here he is. This is the original first appearance of Bane. Vengeance of Bane. First printing from 1993. This is it's been read a few times, but not harshly. But it's not a Minty McMinton one. Vengeance of Bane. First appearance of Bane. There's Cindy's favorite artist, I think, is that doing the artwork there.
Brereton?
Is that Brereton doing the artwork on that?
Or Bisley?
Oh, it might be Bisley. What does it say? Does it have names on the left-hand side?
Fabry.
Oh, it's Glenn Fabry, or all right, or it could be Fabry.
No, it's not. Yes.
Oh, they have very similar styles, and I got confused. My bad. From 1993, Vengeance of Bane, $50 for this. It's a fine plus copy, or $40 if you want to score it tonight. Vengeance of Bane from 1993, $40. First appearance. Check out how it all went down. Next up. Oh, a very early appearance of Taylor Swift in Amazing Spider-Man. It used to be just we would call her Dazzler, but are these rumors true? Is Taylor Swift going to be in the Deadpool movie as Dazzler? Ooh, sure seems like they're trying to make us think that. They're giving us hardcore head fakes. If you're a Kansas City fan, you're probably sick to death of Taylor Swift by now. But when you looked in last weekend into that skybox and you saw Taylor Swift, who is next to her? Deadpool and Wolverine. I think there's enough to convict Your Honor. Amazing Spider-Man number 203 from 1980, a very early. Some people claim second, some people claim third appearance of the Dazzler. We're going to go with one of those. We're not going to tell you which right now, but it's $18 in store, $16 if you score it here tonight. Next up. Oh, sorry, Cindy, I didn't save any Thor's Day books for you. Here's one right here, the Thor number 174 from 1970, featuring the Crypto Man. And just like all Crypto Mans, he's valueless at the end of the day, right? Oh, see my little joke in there. This VG copy of number 174 of Thor, featuring the Crypto Man, is $11. $11. It presents great. It's just a VG copy. Let me go ahead and pull that camera back toward you a little bit more.
I might move this.
All right, it's good. Now tilt the camera up ever so slightly because we've got a lot of the bottom there. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, yeah. A little bit more. It kind of, you had it and then it kind of went back there. Okay, there, down a little bit more. You got it. Beautiful. Thor number 170 from 1970, The Challenge of the Crypto Man, $11. Next up, more Thor. It's an embarrassment of riches. Thor number 169 features the origin of Galactus. It's always fun to find a copy of this where some kid hasn't put the eyes of Galactus in there or a smiley face. This book presents fantastic, but it's a straight-up VG because of the rounded corners. Just got stored poorly, for the last 40 years. $65, though, for a VG copy. That's respectable. $40 if you score it here tonight. This is still, I believe, we still got Lee and Kirby doing this Thor book inside of here. So they just continuing on their stories from the Fantastic Four, which I guess they were obsessed with him, this whole Galactus storyline. Origin of Galactus, $40 for issue 169. It's Thor Day? Yes, Sam, it is Thor Day. And I'm damn glad. Now that I've lost my will to live because Texas they weren't successful. Oklahoma won on the last second.
Yeah. You?
Yeah. Just because you were born there doesn't make.
I'm representing.
Next up, the NAM. Now, we found a big supply of these. If you're trying to put together a set of NAMs, they will be going out to the stores. Let us know. We'll be glad to send them to whatever store you need to. But during the NAM, the Punisher was super red hot popular in 1991. So they said, well, of course he was in the NAM. And so they did a two-part storyline where the Punisher was in the NAM. $20 for this two-part story for 52 and 53. It was a two-parter. There's both parts. $17 if you would like to score it now. Find out how Frank Castle spent his time in the NAM. $17. Next up. All right, so Esteban keeps trying to tell me about this, but I kind of sort of put it together. This was Skybound X. It was a 5-part, or did it carry on? And this is just the first 5 parts.
Just 5 parts.
All right, and mostly it's Clementine, which is hugely popular in the Walking Dead world from the app game. Is that right?
Yeah, there was a game that went on for, I think, almost 6 years. They had new episodes come out every year, and then she made her way into graphic novels now.
So this
continue the story.
So this was an anthology book dealing with in case you're not familiar with Skybound, this is the company that Kirkman created, and it has all of his creative stuff in there. You'd see like Invincible stuff in there. What else he did? Science Dog, Walking Dead. He has about 10 or 12 different properties. And then this was a book of anthology of the off the beaten path storylines. But we did have the first appearance of Clementine in here, and also he did a 5-part story called what was it, Rick Grimes 2000, in which they kind of did a story with. And if you're not familiar with the whole Walking Dead's history, Walking Dead, he pitched to Image, and in the pitch of with Walking Dead, originally he said he didn't really have an ending, and he kind of just made one up, as I understand the story, and he just says, and then aliens show up. And they thought, oh, well, that sounds great. And so this is the story. Well, he didn't actually use that story, and I think he thought better of it after he sat down and saw what he had. But he went back. When was this? 2 years ago, the Skybound X.
Yeah, 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years ago, and he said, well, let me just flesh out that storyline. What if I used those elements? And it looks like an early 90s Image comic is what it looks like. But this is all 5 parts of that Rick Grimes 2000, and issues 1 through 5. They were $5 books, is that right? $5 or $6 books, something like that. This is the issues 1 through 5, $15 if you claim it here tonight, or $25 total in the stores. Next up. This is a conditional because I think Mr. Witherington was interested in these strange adventures, but they look so cool and fun. I thought, well, I got to throw a few of these up here. This is a low-grade reader copy, issue number 176 of Strange Adventures, sci-fi based, kind of horror, kind of what would you call it? Not terror. What would you call it? Suspense. Sci-fi suspense stories. $6 for this good copy of Strange Adventures, number 176. Is it time for lightning rounds yet?
Maybe.
We're still knocking the dust off, so we don't have a complete lightning round set up.
Oh, you remember what it was called?
Yeah, I had to go look it up. I had to go play in a video from September last year. So go ahead and pull all that stuff down, set it aside. And lightning rounds are where we have $1, $2, and $3 books. Our stores have $1, $2, and $3 bins in them. Then these books will find their way there unless somebody claims them. I just want you to understand that everything doesn't have to be expensive at Keith's Comics. These are books that may be overstock, maybe they're lower grade, maybe I just don't know what to do with them. And so we put them in the show cheap. $1 to $3 books, and we're just going to blow through them and say very little about them as we try to in the future when we'll have 20 or so in these lightning rounds. And I think we only have a handful for tonight's lightning round. But mostly, somewhere out there, Pablo, one of our regulars of the show, is getting very sleepy because he usually takes a nap during the lightning round. First book for the lightning round. Hit me up.
Mighty Thor.
Oh, it's a Mighty Thor, number 271. How much is that book?
This one is $1.
All right, so it's $1. It's a very low grade, but man, it's still a cool book. Next up. More dollar books, I hope. Oh.
$1 books.
This is an amalgam book, Assassins, and it's a variant, a very low print run variant, and people sell it for a whole bunch. But this copy, above, just at the end of the Assassin's name on the right-hand corner, looks like somebody took some nibbles out of it. So $1 if you need it just to be able to read it. Assassins from Amalgam. Next up.
This one's $2.
$2 for some. Oh, we had Assassins. Now we have Master of Kung Fu. $2 for the Hands of Shang-Chi. $32. $2. Next up.
$3 conditional.
$3 conditional. This is a conditional. It's conditional because it is also a Mark Jewelers variant. It's just that it's very low grade. It has the old school Mark Jeweler ad in the middle of it, but it's been read a lot. Sergeant Fury's usually got read quite a bit because it was good stuff. This is $3 conditional offering. You can claim it, but if the person who claims the Mark Jewelers jumps in there, they will slide in front of you. Next up,
$3.
$3 for this Marvel team up. That's Kirkman too, right? Didn't he write those early Marvel team ups? Ultimate Marvel team ups? Or maybe I'm mistaken on that. But $3 for Marvel team up featuring Spider-Man and Wolverine. Next up,
Another $3.
$3 for Alpha Flight number 1. Well, I must have some dings on it or something, but there you go. You get you some old school Byrne action going on here. Byrne, Byrne, the artist of this book. Not something that whenever you say something sick, put down to somebody. Alpha Flight number 1, $3. Next up,
$3.
Pasquale says he's asleep tonight. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. This is a lower grade copy of number 3, but still, if you just put together a reader set, we got you hooked up for what, $3? All right, good times. Next up.
Those both have Cyclops on them, so there must be a thing with that.
I'm going to tear them in half after the show.
$3.
What is that? What book is that?
This is Way of X number 5. the I think Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month variant and drawn by In-Hook Lee.
In-Hook Lee, very popular artist here. I don't even know. This book just was in a random box. I'm like, oh, man, just put it for $3. Somebody will enjoy that cover. Next up,
$3.
$3 for Jessica Jones, #1 from the Marvel Now. Is that 2016 series? Just found those in a box somewhere. Esteban was out there going through the mining back there in the garage and found us a nice set of those. Jessica Jones, #1, $3. Next up,
Hunt for Wolverine, $3.
The Hunt for Wolverine. I didn't know he was gone. Oh yeah, this was a time period whenever oh my gosh, I forget who all it was after him, but they eventually encased him at adamantium, and he was essentially quote unquote dead for what, 2 years, maybe 3 years.
It was a long time.
Yeah, it turns out he was just cold chilling inside that adamantium. $3 though to see how he gets out. Well, I don't know if he gets out in this issue, but he's on the road to getting out. Next up,
This one's a Uno Dos Tres.
Uno Dos Tres. That's one package, 2 comics, $3. Betty and Veronica from about 3 or 4 years ago, but this is the Adam Hughes cover. So this is both issue #3, but we have this Adam Hughes Veronica cover and then Adam Hughes Betty cover. Oh yeah, they're going to town. Nice. If you're an Adam Hughes fan, slide in there, get that $3 Betty and Veronica #3 2-pack. Next up,
The storm has passed. The lightning round is now.
the lightning. Oh wow. Okay. Thunder rolls. All right. Back to the regular show. Everyone points out that these books are gaining some traction. There were these Alex Ross covers from the last 3 or 4 years. We did these sketch covers, and he did all these great covers. Now they're going back and they're mining the Joe Jusko deep well of cool Marvel art. Joe Jusko did some really cool Marvel Masterpiece card sets in the early 1990s. Are these new images, Esteban, or are they just pulling his old images?
I think they're the cards blown up to fit comic book covers.
There you go. So what book is this?
This one is Captain Marvel #33, featuring the Deathbird.
Yeah, Deathbird cover, but by Joe Jusko. A lot of people are starting to try to say, hey, these are really cool. I'd like to put these together. I had those cards when I was growing up. So $6 for this random issue of Captain Marvel, but with a really cool Deathbird cover. Next up. Oh, more of those. What book is that?
That one is Sword #9.
Sword. That's the version of S.H.I.E.L.D. that's in space, watching over space aliens like MIB.
I think so.
Yeah, so there we go. A Storm cover for $6. Nice. Next up. Oh, old school Action Comics. #311 from 1964. How did you even let go of that, Esteban?
I just closed my eyes.
This VG copy. Looks like Superman's holding court there. I'll take some of that.
He's King of the Earth.
King of Earth. Well, that makes sense. $8 for this really cool copy of Action Comics #311. Next up. More action. Oh, King Superman. What is this? King of Earth, and now is this a continuation of this story?
Yes, the next issue.
The stylish
He
hat.
has to fight Clark Kent Metallo.
Wow, it's a mashup. And the secondary story on this one is an absolute charmer. I did not know. Cindy, Esteban, do you know why Supergirl's horse is named Comet?
Comet.
Comet, Comet.
I do not.
Because is I don't know all the ins and outs, but he kind of quickly explains it at the end of it. He actually has a curse, and whenever a comet comes near him, he turns into a human.
Oh yeah, which is a little awkward.
It's very awkward that she has a thing for a horse and a human, and I can't go there without reporting myself to HR.
She doesn't know it, right?
No, she doesn't know it. So in this issue, he's trying to help her because she's in a tough situation. But right as he goes to help her, a comet comes by. Like they don't plan these things out at all. and he turns
Like
into a
they're
human.
writing a story or
Like
something.
he turns into a human and falls to earth, which all of a sudden I got questions. But anyway, it is a charming little story. Issue 312 from 1964, $10. Next up. Oh boy, get on the Wonder Man train. I think that now that the writer's back, they can come back from Disney Plus. They've been working on that show. I don't know how far along they are, but the Wonder Man show is coming. This is a nice, solid. It presents as a VF, but we're going to grade it fine. It's also a Mark Jewelers variant. The first solo book with Wonder Man in it from 1980. This is Marvel Premiere number 55. $15 in the store, but because of the Mark Jeweler bump and the conditional offering, $20. You can claim it, but someone has it on their want list, we believe. Next up, Champions Outlawed. This is a
1 in 50 Peach Momoko variant.
oh boy, where's Alex? That Peach Momoko gets him all in a tither. 1 in 50, $20 in store. Only $10 if you score this 1 in 50 here tonight. Next. More Thor. This is a conditional offering because someone's actually sent me a want list with some Thors on it. This is the only one I think in tonight's show that actually matched. But this is an exceptional copy of this. Really solid colors on it. Fine Plus from 1968. We would put $50 on it if it slides out to the store. $40 if you claim it here tonight. Boy, finding anything from the pre-1971 and up fine or above is getting harder and harder as time marches on. People just don't discover them in their garage anymore. It's just not going to happen because it's been 50 years now. I'm not saying that people don't find stuff in their barn, but not comics usually. Next up, we have two of these. Ultimate Spider-Man from Free Comic Book Day 2002, which is making me feel very old. That Free Comic Book Day is over 20 years old at this point. This is, if not the first one, when the first couple here, where Marvel said, "Hey, we got this new universe. Let's put out a new issue number 1. $6, and we have two of them. We can take care of two different people, or if you want both of them, let me know in the comments. And if nobody else needs the other one, we'll hook you up." Is that Kirby on the art? It should have been Kirby. Yes, that's Kirby. That is Kirby all day, every day. Next up. Oh, this is a fun. Thanks, Esteban, for finding this. Silver Surfer versus Dracula from 1994. It is a reprint of Silver Surfer number 50. It was a great Gene Colan story with the Surfer and Dracula because Dracula and just Dracula. Gene Colan was doing the art on that title. Good, fantastic stuff. But this is a reprint of that. Plus, they went and mined some stuff from the 50s. They found a bunch of old Marvel stories from the mid-1950s to the late 1950s, which featured vampires in books you never heard of, like Venus and Vault of Evil, stuff like that. It's very short stories, and then at the very end of it, they throw in a story from Howard the Duck. If you've ever seen a giant size Howard the Duck number 5, it features Man Cow, in which there's a cow that was bit by Dracula, and Howard has to deal with that. So great vampire/Dracula stories in this really underrated book from 1994, Silver Surfer versus Dracula, and only $8, and we can take care of 3 people on that book. If you see somebody's claim for it, don't be disappointed. Claim it also. We can get you hooked up. Next up. Oh, yes. Esteban says, hey, do you think people would like a Venom number 1? Well, who wouldn't like a Venom number 1? Especially this one. Isn't this the first appearance of the character that goes on to become Scream? I believe that would be true. From 2003, the Venom number 1 for $10 for this VF copy in store, or $8 if you claim it here tonight. Who's my Venom fans? I think that the Venom's going to be a big player in that new video game that's coming out soon.
Yeah, it comes out October 20th, I believe.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Next up. I have no idea what's going on with this. Does somebody owe somebody a favor or what? Steel Grip Starkey. I'm sure this has got a great story on the inside of it.
Yeah.
Issue 1 through 6 from Epic. This Epic was a line of comics from Marvel, which ostensibly they were creator owned. I don't know how that ever worked out for people, but this is a 6-issue miniseries. This is all 6 parts from 1986. $8 if you want to get your Steel Grip on. There you go. Let's move that camera to the right just a little bit, please. Perfect. Next up. More Epic miniseries. When we go through the warehouse, sometimes we just find veins of stuff. This is 6 from Sirius. That has a pretty good creative team on it, right? Right, Esteban? Is that Doug Minch?
And Paul Gulacy.
Yeah, Paul Gulacy. Nice stuff. $7 for issues 1 through 4 from 1984 of 6 from Sirius. Next up.
3 to go.
3 to go. We're almost done for this show as we knock the dust off, knock the rust off. This Superman, this is called a, what's the name of the on the left-hand side there?
Oh, it is a Tempo book.
Tempo books from 1978, 79, right around in there. This is a first printing, I believe. I don't know if it's a first printing or not. I can't say that. These are got some good value on them, and then they did a box set that's just ridiculously expensive. From 1978, this is a fine minus, solid, beautiful copy. Beautiful colors still on it. $12 in store. If you're a Superman completist, you got to get hooked up. $7. $7. Hey, don't forget, so drop us an email at thatkeyscomicschannel@gmail.com if you think you won something, so that we can send you a link to our Shopify store and we can get you all taken care of. And also remember that when we're talking about grading and such like here, all books are sold as is. The grades I do discuss here is just my good faith estimate. I can't warranty that you will get the grade I discussed here from a grading service. So whenever you get the books in your hands, if you're not happy, we'll sort it out. I want to sell you stuff for the rest of our lives. How about that? Next up, 2. Oh, man. Okay, so us old people, in the 70s, there wasn't really any idea of what publishing programs where you did graphic novels all the time. There's some great Marvel ones called Bring on the Bad Guys, The Son of Origins, Origin of Marvel Comics, The Women of Marvel Comics. I had either forgot or didn't know that they also did some DC ones, and this is Fireside Press doing this. This is Mysteries in Space, in which they have pulled some of the greatest sci-fi stories from the DC comics, the 1950s and early 60s, and put them into this one really, really cool volume. What's also cool is there's a 6 or 8 page history of sci-fi in DC comics and a bibliography in the back. They list almost all of the sci-fi stories in DC comics from like the mid-40s up until the time of this printing. This fine plus very fine copy of this first printing from 1979 will set you back $25. If you're into DC sci-fi, you need to get hooked up here. Mysteries in Space, Fireside graphic novel, $25. Next up.
Last book.
The last book, Strange Adventures, the Robot X-51 or something like that, X1.
X1.
Conditional offering, only $7. So you can see those Mysteries in Space and Strange Adventures. That Mysteries in Space probably has some of those Strange Adventures. Maybe even one of those stories. Maybe X1 is also in that other book. $7 for this, and we're done. Working some books, having a little show. Thanks everybody for dipping in and out. We appreciate that. I guess that's all we got for now as we try to work out the best timing of this.
K4.
What's that?
Sam Vernon was at K4.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Hey, Sam. Cindy says you were there at K4. Appreciate that. I guess that's all we got for now. Let me know in the comments if you have any kind of interest in certain days of the week for us to do the show. We're still kind of sorting it out, trying to figure out what we're doing. We have so many comics. We can do, if we had the time and energy, but Cindy and I are getting older, if we had the time and energy, we could literally do a show every night. There's a lot of stuff. Help us figure out which direction to go. Tell us what kind of books you're interested in.
I don't want to burn them out, though.
Yeah, well, we'll take them all. There we go. That's tonight's this afternoon's show. Thanks a lot for dropping in. If you're in the future, thanks a lot for watching in the future for Keith's Comics and Estevan. And Cindy just popped in over there. I don't see you in the stores soon. I'll see you next time. All right, I'll allow it. Esteban, they want one more. You got another one over there, right?
I got one left.
One interesting, very cool. Thanks, Pasquale. Give me the hookup. I appreciate it. All right, what do you got? One extra one thing? Let's see.
Something that I did not know much about, but you said it was cool.
Well, it's cool because I bought them new on the shelf as they were coming out in the mid 1970s. If you're not old enough to remember Evel Knievel, Esteban actually asked me if Evel Knievel was a real person, Cindy.
What?
So I always thought, I knew the toy was real, and then I always thought the person dressed up as Evel Knievel, was promoting the toy. I did not know that the toy came after the man.
So in the mid 1970s, oh man, Evel Knievel was on at least once a month it seemed like on Wide World of Sports. So all about the Daredevil. It was a golden age of Daredevils there, and there were several other Daredevils like the Human Fly. And while I guess Marvel couldn't afford the Evel Knievel comics, looks like they signed an agreement with the Human Fly. There's pictures of him. There really was a Human Fly also. This is issues 1 through 19. This is a complete run of the Human Fly comic from Marvel Comics. All 19 issues, $50 in toto. Yes, Pasquale says he was very real. Thanks a lot, everyone, for coming by and seeing us this evening. We appreciate it. And if I don't see you in the stores, I will see you next time.